Welcome to Wisdom Exchange. My name is Suzanne F Stevens, Chief Edge Optimizer for the Ignite Excellence Group of Initiatives. One of our key initiatives is the Ignite Excellence Foundation, which invests, develops, and inspires future leaders in emerging countries. With that goal in mind, we produce Wisdom Exchange TV, which is a resource to aid African women to learn, lead, and succeed in life, business, and community. This is an education site where leading ladies will share their insights on their area of expertise as well as leadership lessons. Men and women of all disciplines will learn from the change agents of Africa, the trailblazers, the pioneers, the leaders of many, in philanthropy, business, education, and politics. Please join us every 2 weeks as we launch a new interview. As well as join us on the fan page on Facebook, wisdomexchangetv.com. We're in Kigali, Rwanda, with our leading lady, Immy Kamarade. She's the Managing Director of Dallas Investments. Not only is Immy the founder of Dallas Investments, an import and export company, but she's a very active board member on several associations. Elected President of Rwandan Women Entrepreneurs Chamber, Private Sector Federation, the Executive Committee for East African Women in Business Professionals. She's also on the organization committee of the International Women Coffee Alliance of Rwanda Chamber, President, Women Co-operative in Eastern Province, and she's the President, National Agriculture Export Board member. She's also the founder and current chairperson. And I'm going to ask you to make sure you enunciate the name correctly.
Benishyaka Association.
Because this is a really important one as well. And it was established in 1994, an organization that focuses on care and support of widows and orphans. It is so nice to finally meet you. I mean, to get this interview, I know is a challenge, but now I understand why. You know, being in the import and export business, what do you see as the biggest opportunity for Rwandans in export?
When we talk of export in Rwanda, we find it's a country that has just begun to build its economy. So an export is really very important to see how we can even balance our economy. And I export mainly coffee. Coffee is the one that brings almost one of the biggest foreign exchange in this nation. So, of course, as every country, export is the future of the economy.
What else is a good export item for Rwanda, do you think?
We have tea. Now women are also in handcraft. We have horticulture.
Now, which countries do you see the biggest opportunity to export to?
We've been exporting to Europe and US, but we are thinking of Asia also as one of the big opportunities.
How about other African countries?
Africans, like for coffee, Africans don't take a lot of coffee. And then for tea, most of the countries also produce tea. So we find Western world, I think, are the ones that are not producing so much, but yet they are the big consumers.
Okay. Now you've said that the agricultural sector has potential to flourish into an economic engine of the country if fully financed. Now I was interested in that comment. What do you think needs to happen beyond the financing?
When you look at the agriculture sector, it's where the biggest number of our population lies. The biggest number is occupied in agriculture, and especially women. So if that sector is promoted, it's given subsidies. You know, most of the times the agriculture is almost the highest risk business that you can do. So it needs a lot of subsidies. It needs a lot of promotion. It needs a lot of development so that it can be as productive as it should.
Now, does Rwanda now offer any subsidies?
Yeah, when you look at coffee, if you are to put up a coffee washing station, it's the government agents that looks for that site for you. And they do some kind of trainings. They help us to market the coffee, and that's how the National Export Board promotion comes in. So it's trying to promote all the agriculture sectors to see how they can be exported more.
Now, of course, we can always look to the government to do things, but the reality is, as an entrepreneur, you need to do these things yourself as well. So what do individual farmers need to do to access more financing, to help them be more productive?
The individuals will need to know how to do things on a large scale, not hand to mouth. If we are realizing that in our area there is coffee, we should be able to join our gardens and produce more coffee. If we realize more bases in that place can be produced, it's better we have means at a larger scale. To know how we can join together and have things at a larger scale, not just hand to mouth business.
So what else is stopping people from flourishing besides the financing?
I think even the know-how, even that idea of saying let us not just grow on small scales, here you have bananas there, tomatoes there, you know, that kind of joining our gardens and make things at a larger scale, and then even produce in a modern way.
So that's where cooperatives come in.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a few cooperatives in Rwanda.
Yes.
Is that fair? So is that one of the better approaches to working together in order to achieve the mandate in exporting?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because if there are 4 or 5 people putting their pieces of land together, they can produce more than just one person producing differently.
Could you share some of the challenges and maybe perhaps how to overcome those if you're going to go in a cooperative route?
When people come together and start now becoming bigger, sometimes, most times, it's so hard to manage what they have because those management skills are not there. But that's what people are working on. That's what the government is trying to stimulate. Laws are being put in place so that people can even know how to manage the big scale that they are now going to.
What was the catalyst to become so involved in so many different boards?
When you look at our lives here, especially African women, not all of us got an opportunity of going to school, not all of us got an opportunity of having exposure, not all of us got an opportunity of really exploiting our talents and our wisdoms. So the moment I realized that God has helped me to be among the few that may be having what to share with fellow women, with fellow African youths, with anybody that they can come across, that's what motivates me. I always think whatever I have, it's important I share it with others.
How do you manage to stay involved in, I think, you're president of 3 of those boards, so you're the go-to person. How do you manage to stay on top of those boards as well as be involved as a member of those boards and run your business while having 5 children, I might add, and a husband all at the same time?
I always think I can just be available and God can use me the way He wants. Because I think it's not only our strength that can really make us reach where we are going. So it's rare for me to say no, but I work hard. I sleep few hours, sleep late, wake up very early, and this makes me be able to manage what I'm doing, and I try to program also. I'm strict on my time and I work hard.
What benefits do you get from being involved? And you can be specific or general, but what benefits do you get from being so involved in these associations?
When you look at the first association I started with was Benishyaka Association. This association will have educated over 10,000 Rwandan children, orphans. So by the fact of seeing how those people now growing up, finishing universities, having important jobs, being able to support themselves, or to support even their mothers or support their brothers, personally it's so great. It motivates me. It has also external positive possibilities. It's like we are building our nation. If I have 10,000 people that have gone to school that are now able to support themselves, I'm building a future for myself, I'm building a future for my children, for my nation, and even for the continent. So all those are things that make me say, yeah, we can do more.
How about the business associations? What benefits do you get from those?
When you look at the associations, there is nothing like financial benefits to my business. It's all about community development. But at the end of the day, if everybody is able to be a purchasing power to my business, it will work. It won't work today, but it will work like in 20 years to come. I also learned from my colleagues. I learned from my colleagues like this Naieb. It has people who really have a lot of experience in agriculture. So I learned from them. For the knowledge-wise, I do learn from boards. Even I learn how to manage. I learn leadership. There's a lot of learning from this board member, being a board member.
For women, what advice would you give them in regards to participating and getting involved in the board? Why should they do that?
As you are saying, it involves us. We learn from our friends, from our board members. We learn, you find some good leaders in that place. You can also be a good leader. And then there's the exposure. You are exposed to a lot of things, so you can also learn. And it's good for women to come up and get that kind of exposure. As women, you know, our time is always limited. So there is a tendency of being, you sympathize yourself and say, but now this would be too much added on what I have. But women should know, life is life. If you work hard and you are determined, you can do whatever comes across you.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that. I've been on several boards myself, and we're not paid to be on a board, which can bring some of its own little challenges with it, of dealing with board. Could you share some of the challenges and any thoughts you have to overcome those?
For being on the board, especially being a president of the board, there is a strategic plan. There are targets that you have to achieve. As you're saying, it's not being paid. That means you have to work hard to have an income to make you run this board. And yet you even have to achieve your targets. As a leader, no one looks at the rest of people. Everybody will look at you. If you have a good team, this good team can make you be appreciated. If you have a bad team, then you can even fail. But whatever you have, it's on your head. So you have to work so hard with minimum finances, and yet you also achieve your targets because you have accepted to lead people, so you have to reach where.
You bring up a very, very good point. You're treating it like a job, as if you're getting paid.
Yeah.
Right? And I think sometimes when people get involved, and I'd be interested in your perspective on this comment, they don't treat it like a job. They treat it like a volunteer effort. When you treat things like a volunteer effort, you don't put your all into it. But often, why do you get involved in the board in the first place? Because you're actually affecting your reputation. If you don't treat it as if it is a job, as if you are getting paid.
Many associations, they fail because of the board. The board represents the beneficiaries. So if the board does not really go in and step in what management is doing, you find these things collapse. So I've learned it from Benishyaka for the last how many years. The board has always been effective, and we find it also progressive. Of course, if the moment you fail in this, you look even at failure in your own business or in your own day-to-day activities. If you have agreed to lead people and you are not able to do it, so you failed in one way or another.
Which board would you say that you've been on or are on right now that you felt you moved the pendulum, you moved things forward the most, where you achieved the most based on where you started and where you finished?
The chamber, the board that I'm on today, I've come to realize that there is a lot in the short time we have done. We have been able to make a road show. We have moved all over the country. My board has moved all over the country. We visited every district. So we managed to meet every woman, and women managed to air out their challenges. We managed to see the opportunities. And then we realized there was a problem for selling our agricultural products. Now we have already constructed one kiosk as a pilot study so that we can start constructing these things all over the country. When women grow their vegetables, their fruits, they can come from the garden right to the kiosk. and sell. This will make women know you don't only grow to eat, you even grow to make money.
Just so I'm understanding, or more importantly the audiences, those women wouldn't necessarily be members of the Women's Chamber. But is that what the Women's Chamber is doing to give back?
Now the Women's Chamber, we are trying, every woman that is an entrepreneur can be a member of our Women's Chamber. But we need registration. Before we tell people come and register, it's important to show them what we are coming for them. It has been there, the chamber has been there. But we feel it's important to really come right from the grassroots and show them, you know what, if we come together under Women's Chamber, we can share ideas, we can save, we can learn how to do different things. So we feel we should just first give them our products and then recruit them.
Now, is there any concern that as you recruit people that have limited business experience, the ones that have more business experience, is there any concern that there's going to be sort of a big gap and the people with more business experience may no longer be getting what they need from the chamber?
No, we are thinking of trainings. These trainings will be according to different business skills and business levels. But we think these people who have reached somewhere, who have done something, should come down and mentor those ones who are trying to come up. So we feel the ones who have achieved should be the ones to pull these other ones, and women are willing to do it. So there is nothing like a gap. Instead, we are going to build the gap by making sure the small one can connect with the big one. When they meet, you find there is something that really connects them. So the chamber will do that role of connecting the two.
Now, what do you think women bring to boards that may be lacking if they were not present?
I've come to realize that women have good leadership skills, and women touch the ground. Women in their homes, women have gone to see their grandmothers, women, so they really touch the ground, and when they're giving advice, they're giving real things. Like if you are here in Rwanda, you cannot compare the economy of Rwanda to the economy of Canada. So if a man has just gone and get a master's in Canada and bring whatever is in the paper books from Canada to Rwanda, a woman who has just finished her senior 6 here should be able to give better advice according to the real and actual things on the ground.
Well, you've also just hit on why we have Wisdom Exchange TV. Now, let's explore that a little further, though. You made a comment that women have good leadership skills. What are some of those skills, if you can list some skills that you think that women have as leaders, or should have as leaders?
First of all, women are good listeners. Women are most times fair to the people they lead. Women take responsibility. They can always share responsibility with the people they are leading, but there is that thing of having it all and say, it's on my head, I have to complete it. And there is that kind of listening, there is that kind of fairness.
Do you have any advice for women on how to get involved in boards?
Okay, the first thing is education, and now most of women in Rwanda, evenings classes are full. So it's very hard to be elected on a board where you also need to have some knowledge and skills. But you're not saying woman should go and achieve how many degrees, no. Any kind of training that can make you have hands-on on what you're doing. But avail yourself, go and exchange your mind with other people. All that makes you a complete person. Education is not only degree and master's and whatever, but any kind of training that can improve on your knowledge.
And it doesn't matter what you're taking. Okay. As the Rwandan Women Entrepreneurs Chamber Private Federation President, what recommendations do you have for young entrepreneurs when it comes to starting their business?
Starting business is, first of all, you have to be determined. Secondly, you have to work hard. Thirdly, you have to be honest. The three can make you get in the finances. You don't need to start so big. Start small and think big.
And I like what you're saying is start small, think big. Is there some tactics that they should think about?
It's good to do something you like, something you have passion for. If you can get that one, that would be best. There is also going to a friend who has experience, and I think that's what the chamber should be able to provide. If you are thinking of a restaurant or something you have a passion for, it's okay, come to a fellow woman and ask her, how is it? She will tell you the challenges, she will give you the opportunities, she can lead you where to go. It's good to seek also advice from others who are doing it.
Yeah, that's a great place to start. Because is there a market for this in the first place? What pitfalls, if any, that you've observed that women go through as they're growing their businesses?
Maintaining growth is a challenge. As we said, women have a lot of work and a lot of responsibilities. As we grow, the responsibilities will become many, and even maybe the knowledge of managing those big finances become hard. Markets change, interest rates change. All those are external factors that you, as women who have just entered into business, as women who have not really been so much trained, it's so hard for us to manage those things. Maybe, in the Western world, there's someone seated on the table to know where the inflation rate is going to. There is someone seated on the table to know how the exchange rate is going to be in how many years. There is someone to predict all those externalities that us we don't have. So I think that's where the major challenges are. We just fall into things that we have not planned.
Now, what has been the most significant impact you feel you've made in your career to date?
I started as just one person in business. I ended up with a company. I was like managing my own company, but today you can see I'm also playing a big role in other people's lives. And as you said, it's really important. I learn a lot of things in these boards, especially leadership skills. As I meet other people, I learn from them.
If there was a couple leadership skills that had the most impact on how you deal in leadership, what would they be?
Being a good listener. If you're managing people, you have to sit down and listen to them. Boards make policies, so it's important to first go down and see it's building the gap between the management and the stakeholders. So it's important to listen to the stakeholders, then come down to the management and see how you can build the gap after understanding what is on the two sides. A president who can really have it as a job, as you're saying, it's more successful, meaning if you are given leadership, you should have it on your head and take it as your own and your task to make people reach where they're supposed to reach. I realized it's important to share responsibilities and opportunities. If, for instance, there is training in US, if there is an exchange in UK, as the president of the board, it's important to share these opportunities with other board members. It makes people feel they're also part of it. It makes people feel they have also initiated their ideas. If you're leading people, they should own all the ideas. Sit on the table, give them your views, they give you their views, and at the end of the day, you conclude on one thing that you all own. This time, your people will work feeling, this is my own decision, I have to fulfill it. So all these are what I've been learning from the board.
What is the most challenging aspect of your career?
Working with different people, people have different attitudes, people have different beliefs, people who can sometimes not do what they're not supposed to do. You find you are even doing what your employee is supposed to do. Challenge is to get really the right people to use, and of course finances. Finances are really expensive.
Now, has there ever been an initiative that you've implemented that in a business or in the association that just didn't work? And why didn't it work, and what would you do differently now?
Especially on the boards and where I'm working with the public, I put things on the table and we discuss. So where the majority feels it's right, even if I wanted it so much, I would hold on and give it. So that until people also own my idea. So I don't normally really say, I've started this, and at the end of the day it has refused, because I leave it to be owned by everybody. But most times I leave them for some time and work hard on my idea also until they feel they should be part of it.
This is what I call our edginess segment, and this is where there's something that you've done in your career that may have been uncomfortable for you to do, but you wouldn't, if you didn't do that particular thing, you wouldn't be the success you are today.
There are times when I really work so hard, especially for coffee. You manage to go down to the villages, but when it's coffee season, I take a week or two in those places. So it's not really very comfortable, but still it leads to success. It makes me interact with people. It makes them own the business that I'm doing. It makes them even change the way they harvest the coffee. So,
now, if there was one thing that you could do differently in regards to achieving the success that you've achieved, would there be anything you'd do differently?
It's the having infrastructure. Infrastructure to my business, having a proper road, having electricity. I think those two are the things that really I will put first to make my business a success, and also make my life easy.
Now, what does success mean to you?
Success means achieving my targets.
How would you define leadership?
Leadership is it's having ability to convince people to follow your advice or your ideas. At the same time, you also cooperate their ideas. At the end of the day, everybody is happy, is successful.
So what's next for you?
If I talk of my business, is to see how I can maintain this growth, is to see if I can really be able to have my coffee right from the garden to the cup.
If there was one thing that you would love to do that you haven't done yet, and the world's your oyster, what would that be?
Outside the business, as you saw, the associations. Of course, for Benishyaka, I would be very glad if we are able to help children go to school, orphans go to school. And most of them are not able, but if we can go beyond even where the government is taking them to, and then having them also be able to sustain themselves. If we can be able to say, we construct an estate for widows and their children. If we can say we construct something like hostels for these children, if they don't have a mother, they don't have a father, they also need an inheritance. But if we can have like these hostels and say these are hostels for 100 orphans, it's where they can get their income for their lifetime. That kind of sustainability, not just always giving people, sustaining people. And then the dream for the chamber is to see every woman be able to provide for her, to provide for her children, contribute, financially contributing. Because women do a lot of work, but it's not paid for.
What words of wisdom do you give to your daughter of 12?
My kids, I'm always telling them that they have to love people. They have to learn how to be kind. They have to learn how to be patient. They have to learn how to be hardworking. And of course, every morning they have to pray. So I'm trying to see how they can have the faith that has brought me up. And out of it, we find there is love. Where there is love, everything is possible. So I always teach them to love.
So what words of wisdom do you have for African women?
The words of wisdom for African women is that love. You know, if you love your neighbor, there is nothing good you cannot do for your neighbor. If we all were able to love each other, we are even able to share the little we have. We are able to share the much we have. So if we can love each other and work hard, and then try to get the knowledge and wisdom, wherever there is any kind of training, go and pick that. Because if we don't have also the wisdom, it's hard to know what to do. So let them go have the wisdom, learn to love each other, and then to work hard.
Wonderful. Thank you, Emy. Interesting perspective too on why you get involved in boards. Because at the end of the day, getting involved can really make an impact on you personally and professionally. It may not be financial in the short term, but it definitely can have an impact on you as a person. So thank you for joining us on Wisdom Exchange TV. My name is Suzanne F Stevens, and I co-produce Wisdom Exchange TV alongside my husband, Michael K. Ginrich. We are traveling all over Africa with our backpacks, interviewing women leaders just like Emy. If you know a women leader that we should be interviewing, please let us know at info@wisdomexchangetv.com or join us on our Facebook fan page at Wisdom Exchange TV and let us know who we should be interviewing. Lastly, I want to just add to what Emy was saying in regards to words of wisdom. If you are going to be on a board, treat it as a job. Your reputation counts on it. Thanks for joining us.